Everybody. So this is the quiz for this week. A 30-year-old male was being treated for 15 years as seborrheic dermatitis for these sort of greasy papules, confluent almost in some places on the seborrheic areas, ears, face, sides of cheek, and the chest, and also on the back. He had no other significant symptoms or family history, and therefore a biopsy was taken because he was not improving with treatment. So, yeah, the first picture shows a low power, and then you go higher power to see the histological images. So, low power here shows a small epidermal dell. Why do we call it a dell? Dell because there's an indentation. Okay, and within the dell you can see the sort of the margins of the dell, the sort of slightly elevated, and then there is this basket weave hyperkeratosis, and within the dell itself there is some debris and parakeratotic debris basically. The epidermis within the dell is composed of these sort of keratinocytes which appear loosely spaced out. Now, in case you haven't already recognized, this is acantholysis. And along with acantholysis, what you're also seeing is that the keratinocytes do not appear normal. You see here that the nucleus is a bit hyperchromatic. There's a perinuclear halo here. You see the perinuclear halo. So these are what we call dyskeratotic cells. So this typical feature is called acantholytic dyskeratosis. Okay. So acantholytic dyskeratosis is what this is called. This is the typical finding. What you're also finding is a sort of intensely eosinophilic cytoplasm within these parakeratotic keratinocytes. So normally parakeratosis, the cytoplasm is not usually retained. By the time the cells form the stratum corneum, the cytoplasm is virtually absent. You only see flattened nuclei on top, more so like this. But here you're seeing an eosinophilic cytoplasm along with the flattened nuclei. See, so these are called these are called grains. Where there's this flat sort of elongated nucleus with some amount of eosinophilic cytoplasm. Now, where there are dyskeratotic nuclei with a perinuclear halo with or without an eosinophilic cytoplasm, these are called chorons. Okay, so this is an example. So they're basically a spectrum. You know, sometimes the cells, some of them are in between. They are not neither chorons nor grains. So the grains are where the nucleus is basically elongated and flat with eosinophilic cytoplasm, and chorons are where there's a sort of hyperchromatic nucleus. Here you see it's neither a choron nor a grain. There's a round cell which has basically become degenerated. It's completely apoptosed. So this is neither a choron nor a grain. But yeah, so a choron basically should have something like there should be a hyperchromatic nucleus with a perinuclear halo, but there should also be an eosinophilic cytoplasm. So this is not a typical textbook example. This is probably a good example. So nucleus is not completely flattened and elongated, but you can see a pycnotic nucleus, eosinophilic cytoplasm, and a slight perinuclear halo. So this typical feature of acantholytic dyskeratosis with chorons and grains is seen in three diseases mainly. So these three diseases cannot be distinguished on histology alone, and these mainly include Darier's disease, Grover's disease, and Hailey-Hailey disease. Sometimes these can be extremely difficult to distinguish based on histology alone. In Hailey-Hailey, you typically see a dilapidated brick wall appearance where the entire thickness of the epidermis is affected, and throughout the epidermis there you find these changes. You don't see this epidermal dell in Hailey-Hailey disease. However, in Darier's this is typically found, and Grover's also you may find this sort of Darier-like changes. Grover's has also a typical pattern of Grover's can also present with a histology similar to pemphigus vulgaris, where you only see suprabasal acantholysis and the sort of tombstoning pattern which we've discussed previously. So pemphigus vulgaris also has acantholysis, but usually dyskeratosis is absent. Hailey-Hailey, Grover's, and Darier's can all have dyskeratosis. So these are the three diseases I expect you to mention. Based on CPC, based on clinical pathological correlation, this is Darier's disease. Grover's disease usually presents in elderly, usually on the trunk, not the face is not usually affected. And this is a young chap. Hailey-Hailey usually affects the flexures. So clinical correlation is essential to make the correct diagnosis. Thank you.